Thank you for the tea and advice, but mostly for just letting me vent. I needed that.
You're welcome. I put my hand on her shoulder and smile at her. You're going to get through this. You have Lucas, your parents, me, Jean, Monica, Eve, and Natsuki. You're not alone. And truthfully, this is something James and Angela are going to have to deal with. They are growing up, and there is only so much you can do.
I don't want them making a mistake that will ruin their lives.
Like getting married right out of high school. Is that what this is really about?
Maybe. I don't know.
But I don't see how you can stop them if they're determined. Guide them as best you can, and try to catch them if they fall. I think that is the best any good parent can do.
This is the girl who never caused her mom any grief,
says the woman who has never raised any kids. Cutting, skipping school, ignoring school assignments, not studying for tests. Looking back, I gave my mother plenty to worry about.
You got past that. It worked out.
Exactly. It worked out.
But your issues aren't life-altering like a pregnancy.
You think so? My choices resulted in me taking 4 years to finish the 2-year college degree. And while I enjoy my job, and it's a perfect one for my education and experience, it's not all that great. If I had gotten a better degree, I might have had a much better job now, one that leaves us more financially secure. One that would actually allow me to save for retirement. The choices I made affected me for the rest of my life, but it worked out. I think the choices they're making will affect the rest of their lives, but it will also probably work out. Sierra just looks at me. I'm sorry. I know I'm the last person in the world that should be telling anyone about how to deal with their children. What I'm trying to say is that while you should do the best you can for your kids, you need to accept that they are going to make mistakes no matter what you do.
That reminds me of the Serenity Prayer.
The what?
You haven't heard of it? It goes something like, may God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
I have heard that before. I didn't know that it had a name. I wasn't thinking of that specifically, but I suppose it is what I'm trying to say.
I think your teapot is clean enough.
I looked down and see that I'd been mindlessly scrubbing my teapot with a sponge this entire time. Yes, I think you're right. I give the teapot a final rinse and then set it aside to dry. As we walk into the living room, Violet comes up to Siri.
Mama Kay!
Siri bends down and picks her up.
Yeah, Mama's okay. I'm sorry I yelled earlier. Love you, Mama. I love you too, baby. You're like baby. Oh, sorry, I forget that you're a big girl now. Yeah.
Siri looks at the clock.
Oh, Lucas should have been back a while ago. I'm a little worried.
Oh, why don't you give him a call? I'll bet Violet would like to read with me while you do.
Blocked, you eat blocked!
She squirms out of Siri's arms and goes over to the toys and starts pulling out the wooden blocks we have. Okay, we'll play with the blocks. I get down on the ground to play with Violet while Siri goes back into the kitchen. I carefully stack some blocks onto those that Violet laid down.
No, big ones first, little ones later.
Oh, my mistake. It's long before Siri returns. Did you get in touch with Lucas?
Yeah, I did. It turned out there was no one at home sees apartment, so they went home instead. So they're there now.
Good, I'm glad to hear that they're safe. I continue to add blocks to the tower Violet and I have been working on.
Are you getting an energy first?
I look up at Edward.
No, kiddo, why?
She stops and gets a contemplative look on her face.
I'm not mad at Lucas, and honestly, I'm not really mad at James either. Lucas and I aren't even thinking about it divorcing each other. It'll be alright, okay?
She sits down and puts her arm around him.
Mom, I can't play when you do that.
Oh, sorry.
She removes her arm and just sits on the couch next to him watching the game. I watch Edward. He seems focused on the video game he's playing with Jane, but I wonder what is going through his mind. I remember Sarah telling me that Edward had never seen her and MC happy together. I think this argument reminded him of that time. There isn't really anything I can say or do about that right now. I'm certain Sayori and her family will get through this issue together. It seems a bit surreal that one of us is about to be a grandparent, though. It reminds of when Sayori got married, and I realized we were old enough to be parents. In a way, I don't feel like we're old enough to be grandparents. That isn't that long ago since we were all in high school together. But as Sarah pointed out, we're over twice the age we were then. We could be starting menopause in just a few years. Even me, my doctor has warned me that despite my hysterectomy, that I will still have hot flashes, mood swings, and all the other symptoms. Where has the time gone?
What are you doing?
I look over and see that Violet has finished the tower and is getting ready to knock it over. I'm ready. With a squeal of delight, Violet knocks it over and it comes crashing down. I clap my hands and laugh with her, then proceed to help her set them up again.
July, year 26.
Wow, the beach is so big! Come on, Marco, let's play! Violet, I don't want you going in the water without an adult! Okay.
Hey, can we go swimming, Mom?
Yes, just don't go too deep and stay together.
We will. Wow, the weather is great today. Yeah, it is. I'm glad you invited us on this trip.
Yes, this is wonderful, thank you.
We're just glad you two were able to come along.
I stretched my back. The 2-hour car ride was a little rough, especially with 7 people and a dog crammed into Sarah's minivan. But it was well worth it. It has been more than a few years since Jean and I last came here.
This looks like a good place to set up the chairs.
We set up the beach chairs we were carrying and Lucas sits down the corner. It's too bad that Monica and her family couldn't come too.
Yeah, I invited them, of course, but she had to work.
What about Rico and the girls?
They were out of town visiting his parents for the summer.
And Monica couldn't get the vacation time to go with them.
Apparently there is some huge work project she's dealing with and can't take time off right now because of it. Honestly, she sounds pretty stressed about it on the group chat.
Where's Violet?
She's over there with Markov.
Vi, that's a little too far, sweetie. Come on back.
I don't think she can hear you.
I've got it. Markov, come here, boy. Markov hears me and starts running back. Violet, still chasing him, begins coming back too. Jean and I decided to adopt a dog from the local rescue shelter last year. Since he is such a complete mix of different breeds, that he's like one of the experiments from the book we named him Markov. Even though he's a small dog, Violet was a little scared of him at first. Now she enjoys running and playing with him. Markov runs up and tries to jump on me. Gah! Markov, no jumping, down! Markov continues to put his paws on my leg. He wants me to pick him up. Wants me to pick him. He's small enough, I usually let him on my lap, but his paws are too sandy right now. I said down.
Is that any way to treat your fur baby?
It annoys me when people say that. Markov is a dog, a pet, not a fur baby or a grand dog. And when I tell him down, I expect him to obey. Markov takes his paws off my legs and sits down. Yes, like that. Good dog. I reach down and pet him behind the ears. Violet comes running up.
Why'd you run away, Marco?
I called him back.
You were getting too far away. It wasn't near the water. No, you weren't, and that's good, but why don't you play a little closer to us? Steve, another question. Can I build a sandcastle?
That's a good idea. I even brought a bucket just for that.
Thanks, Daddy. First, you need some sunscreen. Oh, do I have to? I don't want you to get a sunburn, so you don't have a choice. Come here, and it won't take long. That's yucky.
I get my own tube of sunscreen out and start rubbing it on my arms. We're all putting it on, see? I can feel Jean looking at me. I know he hates wearing sunscreen too. He intentionally wore a long-sleeved shirt here so that he wouldn't have to put any on, and his tie for some reason as well. Come on, that means you too, Jean. At least your face shouldn't, since you don't have a hat. He sighs and comes over to me so I can apply some to his face. Thank you for being a good example. I hear him grumble a little, but he doesn't complain like he usually does.
There you go, Violet. You can go play again.
She takes the bucket and goes towards some wet sand. And that does it for you too, Jean.
Let me get the back of your neck for you.
Thank you. Jean puts some sunscreen on his hands. I move my braid out of the way, and he starts rubbing it onto me.
This would be more fun if you were wearing a swimsuit.
Ignoring the fact I'm covered in sunscreen, he discreetly kisses my neck. I blush a little. You behave now. He just grins and winks at me before handing me back the tube of sunscreen, then getting himself a soda pop out of the cooler. I feel too self-conscious about my weight to even bring a swimsuit, much less wear one today. A loose t-shirt that hides my waist and knee-length shorts that covers my thighs is what I'm wearing. And given that none of the other adults are wearing swimsuits, I don't feel out of place. And besides, I feel uncomfortable in the water since I can't see without my glasses.
I think I'll go keep an eye on the boys and make sure they're safe.
Isn't the tide coming in now?
Yes, and they're both good swimmers. We never know. We'll tell them about them and how to get out of one, but I think I'll join them just in case.
I lean back in my chair and enjoying the warmth of the sun.
So I'm a little surprised that James didn't bring Angela and David.
Despite my suggestion and Sayori's attempts to convince them, Angela didn't give up the baby for even an open adoption and kept it. The baby was named David, and while he would be getting close to a year old now, I have never seen him nor Angela.
James and Angela have been taking a break from each other for a while now.
This surprises me. Sayori hasn't talked much about them, but until now I had been under the impression that they were still together.
As I tried to warn them, the reality of having a baby took a toll on them. They stopped dating but agreed to remain friends last fall.
That long ago? Maybe I should be asking my friends more specific questions about their children's lives. I've asked Sayori a couple of times how James and Angela are doing this year, and she's always answered, fine. I don't want to be nosy, though. And I guess they are doing fine, even if they are no longer a couple, but it bothers me that this is the first I've heard about it. Is there anything similar going on with Meredith, Edward, even Akiko or Chris that I don't know about? What is the proper etiquette for bringing that up in a conversation? Well, you just say, how are the kids? Should I just, I guess they already lied to me about it anyway. Should I just say, hey Siri, what is the current nature of your son's relationship with his girlfriend? Would that occur in the world? I know that is what Gene would do. He's always been exceptionally blunt. But it seems a little rude to me, and I'm uncomfortable being so direct. I realized my mind was wandering for longer than I intended, and hadn't been paying attention to the conversation.
Occasionally, so I get to be grandma then.
Well, I'm glad you're able to spend some time with him at least.
James said he didn't have any plans when he graduated from high school. Has he decided on anything recently?
Well, right now he's just working as a drive-thru cashier at Donkey Burger.
You know, I've got a coupon for that place I've been saving. We should stop by for dinner on our way home.
They stopped accepting coupons some time ago.
Really? I wonder why.
No clue. Anyways, I've been trying to convince James to save his money for school. He's gonna go to community college like you did, Yuri, or get a student loan and attend a state college like Meredith.
That reminds me, what is Meredith doing? Why didn't she come home for summer?
She's doing a summer internship with some big-name video game company. She's really excited about it and said it's the kind of job she wants after she graduates.
That's good. I hope it opens the way for a real job in the future.
I think it will.
So she's doing well in her classes?
She has actually even made the dean's list last semester. I'm hoping that will open up for scholarship opportunities for her.
Wow, that's wonderful. What about her life outside of academics and work? Is she making time for fun and friends?
She hasn't said anything about boyfriend to me, if that's what you're asking. But she does mention her friends when she calls, so I know she has some there.
I hear a shriek from Violet.
Marco, no!
I look over and see that Markov accidentally knocked over her sandcastle.
Markov, come here.
Sarah and I go over to Violet.
Are you okay? Yeah.
Oh, Markov didn't mean to do it. He doesn't understand and just wanted to play with you. Jane will put him on the leash for now, so he won't do it again. I raise my voice a little in the last part so Jane gets the hint.
Come here, Markov. I know you didn't mean to cause trouble, but you're going on the leash for now.
He gets out the leash and puts it on Markov's collar. He then puts Markov on his lap.
That's a good boy.
Do you want to help rebuilding the castle? No, I can do it. Okay then.
Sarah and I return to our beach chairs. Jean, why don't you offer Markov some more water? He's probably thirsty in this sand and heat.
Oh yeah, thanks for the reminder.
Jean gets out the portable water dish and fills it with some of the water we brought. Markov quickly laps it up. Jean keeps offering him water until he stops drinking, then puts the dish away so it won't get sandy. I look out towards the ocean and see Edward and James splashing each other with Lucas right at the edge of the water. A few minutes later, Markov starts whining.
What is it, boy? Are you bored? Do you want to walk?
On hearing the word walk, Markov starts tugging on his leash. I'll take him. I don't want you to wear yourself out too much.
Thanks, son.
Do you have the baggies?
Yeah, they're in my pocket.
Jean hands me some sealable dog poop bags. I take the leash and then start walking down the coastline. When I return, I attach Markov's leash to the cooler. It's safe enough if he can't drag it. I then sit down in my chair, pull out my new book, and start reading. I had just finished the first chapter when Jane speaks up.
Oh, when were we going to have lunch? Is anyone else getting hungry?
I wouldn't mind eating now.
How about I get the food out of the cooler while you get Lucas and the boys?
Sure, but I want you to stay here with Jean and Yuri while I go to get Daddy. Okay.
I start to put my book away so I can keep an eye on Violet when she runs up to me.
A book. Can you read to me?
Well, I didn't actually bring any kids' books. I'm a little saddened that I didn't think to bring one. I like sharing my love of reading, especially with her.
That's okay, read it anyway.
I consider the book I had been reading. It is one I have never read before, actually. It is a horror novel, one set in space. So far, it has all been backstory about a spaceship on a deep space exploration mission. The humans are just starting to explore the galaxy, and I've yet to make contact with extraterrestrials. From the synopsis, I know that they are due to make... That would be D-U-E. Or, no wait, no, that's not it. That they do make some sort of contact, and that is when the horror parts begin. I'm hoping the horror is due to how strange the aliens are, and not just ravenous monsters that hunt people. It isn't scary yet, and is long enough and complicated enough, I'm certain she will lose interest before that happens. Okay then, why don't you sit on my lap and we'll read together? Statement not a question.
Thanks, Yuri.
Of course. I open the book to the next chapter and begin to read out loud. It was war, yet not like any war that man had ever seen before. There were no guns shooting out or bombs exploding. There wasn't even the bloody massacre that is usually associated with war, but it was war of a magnitude never seen before or since on that world. After it was over, the planet was quiet as it floated through space. All signs of the vast civilization that had flourished there was gone. The towering buildings, the giant cities, even the people had all been eradicated by the war. The only thing that existed was a broad jungle that stretched out across the planet. It covered everything it could. It spread over what was once plains, forests, swamps, mountains, deserts. It covered the entire planet, except in the nearby area of a large black tower. The tower sat alone, surrounded by the vast chaotic jumble of trees and vines, a lone monument to the people that had lost their lives in the battle the day before. An eerie timelessness hung over the planet. Nothing changed. No animals moved through the forest. No fish swam in the seas. Not even an insect could be found amidst the lush foliage. As it ever does, time marched by. Centuries passed, and besides the occasional tree falling down, nothing changed. No storms came. No earthquakes. The planet was as silent as the graveyard it was.
Yuri, are you reading about one of your horror novels?
I hadn't noticed that Sarah had come back with the others already. I blush.
Yuri?
Yes?
What's a massacre?
I look at Sayori. Yes, sorry.
Yuri, what's a massacre?
A massacre is when a lot of people are killed at the same time.
Oh.
But now that everyone is back, it's time to put the book away and eat lunch, okay?
Okay, can we read more after lunch?
I can feel Sayori's eyes on me. I was planning to play with the frisbee after lunch, maybe try to teach Markov to fetch. Do you want to do that with me instead?
Yeah.
Who's ready for a sandwich?
Me.
Here you go. Yeah, what kind are there? You've got a choice between bologna and bologna. I guess I'll have the bologna then. That's what I'll choose as well.
There's some in the cooler, but make sure you also drink some water. I don't want anyone to get dehydrated.
Yeah, it's Mom.
Jean hands me a sandwich.
Did you want a pop to drink, hun?
Just water for me, thanks. He hands me a bottle of water. I remove the cap and take a swig. I set the bottle down and start eating my sandwich. I notice Markov is looking hard at Violet, who is currently out of range of his leash. Violet, I don't want you feeding Markov any of your sandwich.
I wasn't going to.
Yeah, right. Markov has learned that Violet is likely to give him table scraps, both intentionally and unintentionally. Good. I don't want him getting sick from eating people food. Especially on the drive home. I shudder to imagine that.